Alright guys, so in today's video I'm going to be talking to you guys about Navy boot camp. So this is actually going to be a multiple parts to this video where each video is going to cover one specific topic. So in this video it's going to cover what you need to know before you go into boot camp. And I'm not talking about like academic wise, I'm not talking about like, PT information, nothing like that. I'm talking about general information, what you should know before you go into boot camp so you can hit the ground rolling really fast. You can hit the ground running. All right, so the first thing is the Sailor's Creed. Sailor's Creed itself is very, very important. You say it every single day when you're out in the fleet. You don't say it so much when you're in A school, for me at least, when I was in my A school. But when you're in boot camp, I mean, it's not graded. It's not something that gets graded or, the instructors are going to scrutinize you for not really knowing. But I mean, you do say it every single day before you go to sleep, but as far as importance in boot camp, it's not very emphasized. But overall in the Navy, it is extremely, extremely important. And in boot camp, it's not graded. It's not something that's like counted towards you. All right. So second thing is the 11 general orders of a century. So this is actually one of the most important things that you need to know. You definitely need to know throughout boot camp. All right. So a lot of times people memorize it from 1 to 11, right, in order. So if you actually think about it, it kind of goes in order. It kind of has a story to it, and when I first started, it's a lot of information, right? So I broke it down, just to give you tips if you didn't really memorize it. So break it down from 1 to 5 and then 6 to 11. So in that way, you memorize 1 to 5 first, and then after that, memorize from 6 to 11, and the biggest thing that you need to know in regards to 11 generals in orders of a century, if you already do know, let's say, you're watching this video and you say, Yoon, I already know that. So, all right. So if I ask, what's your 5th general order? Like, can you say it right off the bat? What's your 10th general order? What's your 9th general order? What's your 8th general order? You have to memorize it individually and not in order. Okay, that's going to be the biggest thing because, they're going to say it, all right, so what's your 4th general order? What's your 7th general order? They're not going to say, all right, so start from 1 to 11. They're not going to say that. They're going to pick it out individually. So know it individually, all right? So use flashcards, note cards, whatever you have to do, and that's going to help study for those, in my opinion, and that's what helped for me. So, third thing is the RTC maxim. I will not lie, cheat, or steal, nor tolerate those among us who do. So, this isn't a very, very, it's not like graded, but it's an important thing to do, like take to heart. But overall, importance-wise, it's not that important as far as like being graded or judged on performance-wise. I mean, if you saw my my personal growth video, you do see that for me it was like a moral struggle for that at one point. If you ever saw that, my story growth on Navy core values too, which RTC maxim does play a role in that. So moving on, next thing is the chain of command. The chain of command is one of the biggest one that you do really need to know. All right, so when you look at the starter's guide, it has like a chain of command. So the thing with that was, when I first looked at chain of command, memorized it, and I went to boot camp, and I was like, I'm going to be ready for this depth test, right? But the thing is, that chain of command in the starter's guide is, it tells you like our president, secretary of defense, secretary of navy, and all that kind of stuff. But it's pretty not that helpful, okay? Because when you go to boot camp, they're going to give you basically, all right, so in the starter's guide, it's going to be like this thick, right? But when you get to boot camp, now it's going to be, they're going to give you like the whole thing. It's not just like 7 titles that you need to know or 7 positions. It's like 15 positions with their rank and their name. Okay, so what happened for me was I was like confused. I memorized this before coming into boot camp in my depth starters guide, and then I go to boot camp and I see this like 15 names and 15 ranks, and I was like, where did this come from? So it does get very confusing. And so be prepared for that. There's going to be like 15 different ranks that you need to know, and their names and their position and their role. All right. So, and also their caller devices. So in boot camp, in the starters guide, they also have the caller devices. So like one silver bar, one two silver bars. Like for petty officers, like the 3 chevrons, one. Pitched eagle with 3 chevrons, all that kind of stuff. So you are going to need to know that because, for example, they're going to ask you like, hey, what does a lieutenant wear as a collar device? So, if you can't answer that right off the bat, you get punished for it, or, they kind of judge you a little bit. So know the collar devices, okay? And the 5th thing is the CO's top 6, which is no sexual harassment, recruit-to-recruit contact, fraternization, racial discrimination, hazing, and substance abuse. So this is going to be very important in boot camp, and it's going to be very emphasized while you are in boot camp. It's not like something that's graded, but you do say it every single day before you go to sleep. And when you are, for those females, if you're a female, you're going to have to kind of be wary of this. If you're in an all males division, not so much, but if you're in an integrated division, definitely for you guys, because one of the things with the recruit to recruit contact that happens a lot is like no passing between males and females. So if you get caught with that, I've heard some people get set back right away, in a week. As soon as they see a note, if the instructors catch you with a note, if they really want to, they can send you back a week. If they really want to, they don't really have to. They can just kind of yell at you. But if they want to, because you broke the CO's top 6, they can send you back a week easily if they just so choose to. And also, in my personal division, there was a male who broke the recruit to recruit contact, and he just messed with the wrong person. Basically, everyone was wearing the cover, the hat, and then we were walking out, and then this one guy, he just kind of tapped on everyone's cover. And then I went, and then it's like, it's no big deal. He was just playing around, but he messed with one individual that he shouldn't have. And then, that individual told the instructor, and then the instructor asked, like, hey, has anyone else, did this individual do this to anyone else? And then some other people stepped up, and then, the person who started to tap the other people's hat, just because, it was fun. It was, for him, it was fun, but, we all knew he wasn't supposed to. We all knew he was kind of being like a jerk a little bit. He just did it for the sake of doing it to, just do it to get a laugh out of it. And then he ended up getting set back a week, which was totally his fault, because before that, he broke another rule, which the instructors threatened him to be sent back a couple of weeks, but he just he was lucky. The instructors just forgave him, and then he moved on. But then he did that again, this incident, and now he got set back a week because this is strike 2. So no recruit to recruit contact. So no passing or any form of touching, anything like that. So, a lot of times, if you are in an integrated division and you're talking to a female and you guys are laughing, that could be considered recruit to recruit contact. It doesn't have to be physical. It can be verbal, no passing, all that kind of stuff sometimes. When you're out in the public's eye, when you're inside, the berthing, when you're inside, in the compartment and you guys are interacting, it's kind of okay. But when you're outside, let's say for example dental, medical, or you're walking outside, talking is a big no-no, and especially if you're caught talking to a female, and depending on depending on who's looking, they can yell at you for that or get you in trouble for that. All right. So number 6 is the depth test. Okay. So the depth test, I can't exactly say what's in the depth test. However, I can tell you, know everything in the packet, in the starter's guide. Know everything inside. Because, when I first got it and my recruiter said, all right, just forget this, you don't need to know this, or just know this and know this. So I was like, all right, cool. So I just memorized those and then went to take the test, and I'm looking at it and say, all right, this was in it, but my recruiter never told me to study this. And all these were in it. So know everything. Your recruiter might say, all right, that's not important, this is important, but know everything. Okay? I'm not going to tell you what, but know every single thing that's in the depth test. Oh, in the starter's guide, okay? And also, when you're going to take the depth test your first week in boot camp. So, any type of information they put out in the first week of boot camp is also going to be relevant. So make sure that you pay attention and you memorize anything that they give you in the first week of boot camp. And at the same time, the starter's guide. So memorize everything in the starter's guide, and also pay attention to the first week in boot camp. And you should be, if you do pay attention, you memorize it, you know it, you should be fine with the academic portion of the depth test. All right, guys. So that is it for what you should know before coming in as a general knowledge, not academic wise. So this is a part one of several different types of videos that I'm going to be making over a couple of days. So if you have any questions, or if you want me to answer a specific question in a later video on a different topic, put in the comment section below. And hope you have a great Navy day, guys.